The word on Ford. Here's the Ford for 1955, which will be announced shortly. Let's learn more about it and how it compares with the all-new Chevrolet. Preliminary specifications show the Ford has made a number of changes in appearance and mechanical features. But these changes fall short of making it a new car when compared to the 55 Chevrolet. In styling, engines, chassis, transmission, and options, the 1955 Ford is basically the 54 with some changes and a great many new names for old features. Even preliminary Ford literature does not refer to the 55 Ford as a new car. Basic appearance of the 55 custom line and main line models are very similar to the 54. This indicates that the body shell is the same. A wraparound type windshield and a redesigned grille are the most notable exterior styling changes in the custom line and main line series. A new dip in the side chrome strip is used on the Fairlane series, which in 55 replaces the Crestline models. Note that Ford's headlight hood appears to be a separately attached piece instead of being integral with the fender. This is an example of Ford's warmed-over styling. Ford appearance emphasis is on high style lines and how high it looks compared to the motoramic Chevrolet. As a matter of fact, Chevrolet's height compared to Ford's ranges from 1/2 inch lower in sedans to nearly 1.5 inch in station wagons. Compare Ford's simulated surface chrome dip against Chevrolet's actual dip of entirely new body design. Note Ford's wandering chrome work high on the fender. Ford again uses an exhaust level air intake for ventilation and heating. Chevrolet, with its complete newness of styling, provides cowl high intakes for cleaner, fresher air for both heating and ventilation purposes. Another old style note on the 55 Ford is the lack of window area behind the rear door in the four-door sedans. Chevrolet's modern styling rear quarter windows provide maximum rear seat visibility and comfort, plus the effect of increased length and bigness. Ford claims 4 series in 55 by claiming the station wagons into a so-called line. Ford also claims 16 body styles, but an examination of the models shows that several are merely variations of basic body styles. Ford's mainline series is basically the same as in 54, except that a 2-door business sedan replaces the coupe. This appears to be a copy of Chevrolet's utility sedan introduced by Chevrolet a year ago. Ford's custom line is now only 2 models, a 2-door and a 4-door sedan. The Club Coupe of 54 has been dropped from this line. The 5 Chevrolet 210 models offer a great mass of buyers a much wider selection in the deluxe line. The Fairlane series, alias the 54 Crest line, has been increased to 6 models. The Sunliner, Victoria, and 4-door sedan are carryovers from 54. What is called a club sedan appears to be Ford's version of a Chevrolet Bel Air 2-door. Last year's Skyliner is now called the Crown Victoria and comes in 2 versions, one with transparent top and one without. A chrome molding over the rooftop has been added. Ford's line of 5 station wagons represents the addition of a 6-passenger version of its 4-door model. Although Ford has one more station wagon than Chevrolet, the only apparent difference between 2 of their 4 doors is that one has simulated paneling. Ford station wagons do not have the wraparound rear window and motoramic smartness. Ford claims newness in interiors but mentions nothing to match Chevrolet's definite, across-the-board increases in shoulder, hip, and hat room. Ford claims no significant increase in glass area or visibility. S-type seat construction, introduced by Chevrolet in 1949 and not claimed as new by Ford when they first used it in 54, is a typical example of unjustified use of the word new throughout 1955 Ford sales literature studied. Shoe, that was a mouthful. Ford's 54 instrument panel, with few changes, has been carried over into 55. Contrast it with Chevrolet's better balanced, functional design, which places everything, including the glove compartment, within easy reach of the driver. Failure to get desired performance with the 54 engine, Ford's first attempt at a valve in head V8, apparently caused Ford to try again. The 54 V8 has been junked in favor of an engine with greater displacement. Ford calls this a new high-torque Y-block V8. It's the same story with new adjectives, as any conventional V8 has the basic Y silhouette. Specifications belie the high-torque adjectives, which still must be proved. Its deep block feature supposedly adds structural strength below the crankshaft. If required, strength should be above the crankshaft when operating stress develop. A cylinder block of this design offers a definite size and weight penalty. The lighter, more compact turbofire engine is not only more efficient, but also contributes to longer front tire life and easier steering. Chevrolet welcomes this statement of fact from Ford literature. Modern short stroke means less wear, less energy lost to friction, more power, and longer engine life. Ford copy points up the advantages of a short stroke. But specifications show that Chevrolet has an advantage in both bore and stroke. Ford copy explains the advantage of Chevrolet's shorter stroke. Chevrolet's larger bore permits better valve and cylinder cooling. This provides longer engine life plus longer, more dependable operation. Though estimates based on specifications rate Ford's V8 as equal to Chevrolet's TurboFire V8, it is significant that no mention of actual horsepower or compression ratio appears in advanced literature. Is Ford waiting until it learns Chevrolet's horsepower to use all allowable loopholes to arrive at a rating higher than Chevrolet's? It is obvious that real horsepower and compression cannot be increased at the will and whim of advertising writers. Last-minute ratings arrived at by using a horsepower stretcher would only be an extension of Ford's policy of last year when its typewriter power ratings could not be substantiated with performance. Chevrolet's TurboFire V8 engine offers these additional features: individually mounted valve rocker arms for low weight and durability, exhaust pipe crossing below the engine front for lower under-hood temperatures, and more air for the air-fuel mixture. Larger overlap of crankshaft journals for greater stiffness, floating type oil pump intake for cleaner oil. In 55, Ford continues the same six featured for several years, an engine basically Chevrolet in design. It is again significant that no mention of actual horsepower or compression ratio appears in advanced literature. In real power, however, Chevrolet will continue to hold a definite advantage with both the 123 and the 136 horsepower new Blue Flame 6s. This is called a Ford First and is said to resist the formation of deposits up to 3 times as long as conventional plugs. This plug is similar in design to that used by Chevrolet since 1948. Ford's turbo wedge combustion chamber is actually a General Motors development. It is the same basic design used in Chevrolet engines and brought to a new peak of perfection in the 55 Chevrolet's Fire Swirl combustion chamber. Chevrolet offers a 12-volt electrical system compared with Ford's 6-volt system. This 100% greater voltage in Chevrolet means higher generator output at low speeds, easier starting, and better high-speed operation. Ford continues to advertise many items featured in 54, ball joint front suspension, magic action brakes, K-bar frames, Hotchkiss drive. Only a tilted coil spring described as angle-poised ride appears to be new. Ford continues to use its K-bar frame, which required 5 crossmembers for acceptable rigidity. Chevrolet's new frame is 50% more rigid. This is accomplished by straighter side members, more nearly square box girder construction, and more rigidly attached cross members. It is lighter, integrated in design with the body, and forms a new solid foundation for Chevrolet's quadra-poise ride. Though Ford again uses its 1954 ball joint front suspension, Chevrolet's front suspension, which also employs a spherical joint, is distinctly new and different. Chevrolet's non-metallic liners provide extra durability and smoothness in operation of its joints. Only Chevrolet offers glide ride with braking dive control. Stability of the new Chevrolet is such that there is no need for a ride stabilizer, which the Ford still requires. Ford makes no mention of its braking dive. Chevrolet's outrigger rear suspension can be described and demonstrated to advantage. Because Chevrolet's rear springs are spaced wider apart than Ford's, Chevrolet owners get a better ride along with better roadability, especially on curves and crowned surfaces. Another Chevrolet advantage is in the relationship between its front and rear tread, in which front and rear tires more nearly follow the same path. This gives Chevrolet drivers better tracking on rutted roads and centerline tar strips. Chevrolet's recirculating ball steering gear is definitely superior to Ford's worm and roller gear. It gives extremely smooth steering action and driving ease. Chevrolet's shorter curb-to-curb turning diameter provides greater maneuverability in congested areas. In addition, it means faster maneuverability, important when seconds are of extreme importance. Only Chevrolet's bonded brake linings are permanently fused to the brake shoes. Because rivets are eliminated, Chevrolet owners get increased lining life, more effective braking, and greater protection to the brake drums. For the first time, Ford has increased its brake size to match the 11-inch diameter Chevrolet has featured for years. Chevrolet has a decided edge in power teams, which are designed and balanced to give maximum in economy and performance. Ford's engine and transmission combinations offer no such balance. For example, Chevrolet offers a 6-cylinder engine designed and powered specifically for power glide, whereas the underpowered Ford 6 is used with all 3 Ford transmissions. The only new feature advertised by Ford is a new automatic low gear for fast starts with Fordomatic. This gear does not cut in while the engine is idling, so to activate it in starting requires full throttle. Chevrolet's low gear is immediately available, responding instantly to normal acceleration. Power Glide also provides better performance with fewer gear changes and smoother operation. Ford, with its intermediate gear ratio of 1.48 to 1, has been forced to compromise between smoothness and multiplication. Chevrolet, with its power and balance, needs no compromise. In addition to the advantage from Power Glide's double-wrap low band, there is also greater protection. Positive thermostatically controlled water cooling of the transmission oil under all conditions. Ford offers variable air cooling. Ford continues with the same overdrive as in '54. Chevrolet offers a new transmission with reduced shifting, new comfort, and convenience. Chevrolet salesmen should capitalize on every new feature which touchdown overdrive provides. Ford doesn't label its conventional transmission as new, limiting copy to a new heavy-duty clutch. Chevrolet not only has a new heavy-duty clutch, but also a new transmission which will provide easier, quieter shifting and improved durability. Ford has nothing to match Chevrolet's body by Fisher. Fisher's years of experience and unmatched facilities have made them the recognized leader in this field. Chevrolet's superiority shows greater integration of parts, unmatched quietness, doors that reflect solidity, and true big car characteristics. But further proof of Ford's loose use of the word new in describing its '55 models is in the almost complete absence of any reference to body features in available Ford literature. New deep deck luggage compartment. New deck lid hinges and latch allow more space and improved luggage handling. Center fill fueling eliminates filler pipe and makes room for an extra bag. Ford claims a new deep deck luggage compartment, but no mention is made of the steps which are built into the floor, nor the extra high rear panel which increases loading height. Center fill fueling, which necessitates the use of a panel below the deck lid, is continued. In contrast, the floor in Chevrolet's luggage compartment is level for maximum use of space. The absence of a rear panel makes loading easier while the filler pipe is to one side, out of the way. Chevrolet's plenum chamber is a good example of integrated body design. The feature is responsible for Chevrolet's light, yet strong frame construction, as it replaces the need for additional cross members. Ford has no comparable feature. Here are the other Chevrolet advantages which should be fully explained when comparing with Ford. Unitized body construction, rear quarter panels with vertical wall construction, center roof bow and welded-in instrument panel. Though Ford may offer some of the following options and accessories, Chevrolet salesmen should make sure their prospects know they are available with the '55 Chevrolets. The automatic eye, all-season air conditioning, electric windshield wipers, signal-seeking radio, engineered high-performance power package, and moisture-sensitive automatic top lift for convertibles. Apparently, Ford is planning to offer the old-type air conditioning with these disadvantages: unsightly interior air ducts, reduced trunk space, recirculation of the same air, no humidity controls, and complete separation from the heater. Chevrolet's all-season air conditioning offers directional control of the cool air circulation of varying amounts of outside air, integrated heater permitting both temperature and humidity control, and a compressor designed specifically for an automotive unit. Chevrolet's signal-seeking radios automatically provide the driver with a choice of the strongest radio stations in the vicinity in which he is traveling. With few exceptions, Ford's newness is restricted to new adjectives and names for '54 features and items. So give the word on Ford when the subject is brought up by a prospect. Then sell all the advantages Chevrolet offers, the motoramic Chevrolet new from the ground up, the new concept of automotive design for modern transportation at the lowest cost. This is not the end. As this film was being prepared, some advance information was received about the 1955 Plymouth. Let's take a look. Here is the four-door sedan of Plymouth's most expensive series, the Belvedere. The windshield is of the modified wraparound type. The front pillar is still slanted and the front venti panes are still triangular. In this front view, the V8 symbol stands for Plymouth's high-fire V8 overhead valve engine. Plymouth also offers a L-head 6-cylinder power flow engine. In the rear, Plymouth's bumper lets down its guard at the license plate bracket. Plymouth still has the high obstacle panel to interfere with luggage compartment loading. The small circle at the bottom of the tail light is the backup light. Here is the Plymouth instrument panel. The crank sticking out is the selector lever for the PowerFlight automatic transmission. PowerFlight still lacks a P parking lock position. and low and reverse are on opposite ends of the band, which complicates rocking out of snow and mud. Standard shift Plymouths still have the shift rod outside the steering column instead of the new streamline concealed in the column design. Plymouth still uses a worm and roller type steering gear, which develops more friction than a modern recirculating ball system and thus takes more steering effort. Plymouth's front suspension still uses king pins, which demand greater steering effort and more lubrication work than modern spherical joints. Plymouth still has a cowl vent rather than a more modern hood-wide air intake system. Air conditioning is available at extra cost in the 1955 Plymouth. Here are the Chevrolet and Plymouth exterior dimensions. A wheelbase both at 115, Plymouth is 8.2 inches longer, and the rest of the dimensions are nearly the same. The 1955 Plymouth still has a 6-volt electrical system. This deprives the Plymouth owners of the greatest generator capacity, quicker cold weather starting, and finer high-speed performance of the modern 12-volt systems. This preliminary information of the Plymouth will be followed by a later release containing more detailed comparison information, but this preview clearly indicates that Chevrolet's 1955 advantages over Plymouth shape up as bigger and more important than ever before.